know that you provide services to families, to children. Let's talk a little bit about what those services are.
Okay, perfect. So the services that we offer to families, to parents, first and foremost, we do what we call, we take a 2-generation approach, but with families, we're doing integrated service delivery. And so integrated services delivery says that you have to have 3 components. You have to have some type of career or education component. You have to have a financial literacy component, and then you have to have an asset building component. And so we have a class that we run for about 10 weeks, give or take, just depending on what's going on and what the parents say that they are able to do. And we provide advanced manufacturing training. So here in the upstate, advanced manufacturing is the 3rd largest employment industry. And so parents are able to, and actually their average salary in advanced manufacturing is over $60,000 a year. So we felt that, okay, there's a skills gap here in manufacturing. It's the 3rd largest, it's growing, and they always have a need for employees. We have these parents who are in poverty, who are struggling to make their ends meet. Why not marry the two? Why not see what the employers need and then take those parents and get them those skills? And so in our 10-week training program, the family comes in, or the parent comes in, they're able to go to class. They learn financial literacy in week 1. They learn soft skills in week 1. They're learning all about, how do I have a budget? How do I create a budget? What's my credit score? What's the significance of a credit score? What are my needs versus my wants? How do I prepare for home ownership? So just things like that are really important, that a lot of times we take for granted and we don't really think about. But the population that we're serving, they've been so accustomed to just survival. They're not really thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about, how am I going to get through today? How can I put food on the table for today? So we address that, but then we also take it a step further and ensure that they're planning for the future. So financial literacy, then we're doing soft skills. We want them to know what employers want. We want them to be able to not just become employed, but to remain employed once they become employed. And so we teach them exactly what employers are looking for, how to resolve workplace conflict. How do I present myself to an employer? What does it mean to be on time? Does it mean that if my shift is from 7 to 3 that I get to work at 7 o'clock? And we're talking about manufacturing, where people are coming off of a line and somebody else is coming onto a line, and there needs to be that continuity in terms of the production. And so it means that you need to be there at least 15 minutes early, and meaning being in the building and not necessarily in the parking lot, just because you just don't know what's going on. So we teach them those types of things and just how to deal with things. We talk about their plan A, plan B, and plan C for transportation, for childcare, and we want these things figured out now before you even get your employment, so that it's not an issue and it's no longer a barrier for you once you go to work. So we do, just a ton of that stuff. And then on week 3, they typically are starting the advanced manufacturing training. That's a partnership that we have with Greenville Technical College. They actually come in and teach the training. We actually are moving to a new format of online training, where the parents still have to come here, but it's a little bit more flexible. If we have someone that's working 3rd shift, and they still want to do our program, then it's no longer a barrier for them, because in the past it has been. And so they're learning about advanced manufacturing. So they get to earn national certifications from the Manufacturing Skills Standards Council. We call it the MSSC. They come out of our program with the potential of having a safety certification, a quality practices and measurement certification, a manufacturing processes and production certification, and then a maintenance awareness certification. If they take and pass all 4 of those exams, then they become a certified production technician. And it is absolutely huge in advanced manufacturing, because it tells a manufacturing employer that this person has, number one, took the initiative to go back to school to learn how to be an asset to their company. And then they're coming in with the knowledge and the skills that employers are saying that right now they have a skills gap. So these people come out knowing how to read blueprints. They come out understanding geometric dimensioning and tolerances. They come out understanding statistical process and control. They know what it means to do lockout, tag out procedures. They know when they need to call for the maintenance technician. They get a foundation of maintenance awareness, but it enables them to know, okay, when do I actually need to call for my technician? And so they really come out with a keen sense of safety. That's the number one issue in manufacturing companies, is safety. You know, every manufacturing employee that you talk to is going to be shouting safety from the rooftops. And so our people get that certification in safety, but then they also get an additional certification from OSHA in safety. It's a 10-hour general industry certification. And then they get 6 hours of lean manufacturing training. And once they complete it, they get the Six Sigma Yellow Belt, which is, again, huge in manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows these parents to be set apart when they're applying for these jobs and competing with all the other people that are applying for the jobs. So that's the training that they get. And then when I was talking about the integrated service delivery model, so a component of asset building is access to community benefits. So we have something here called the benefit bank. If a parent comes in and they need food stamps or they need family independence through the TANF program, or what we commonly hear as welfare. If they need to apply for Social Security benefits, any public benefit that's available through this portal, they're able to apply for all of that here. So we become like a one-stop shop for them, where they're not having to come here, leave here, and try to get across town to downtown Greenville to DSS and things like that. We're able to do everything for them here. And so that's another component of that. And then we talked about asset building just with the financial literacy. We have some other organizations that we partner with for affordable housing and things like that. So once our parents are ready for that, we already have the connection made for them. They're able to go right into, a program to help them to become homeowners. And we do a lot with them as far as their budget and finances. So even though we're teaching them in the class, my success coach actually works with them on a monthly basis doing a financial wellness checkup, just making sure we're on target with your goals. And I totally skipped the whole segment that we do in the beginning when a person first walks through our doors. We do an information session, but then after that, it's 4 weeks of just intense meetings with the case manager so that she understands where you are, where you want to go, what your drives are, what your parenting goals are. And so the ISP, the Individualized Success Plan, documents career goals, financial goals, and parenting goals. And then it has the objective steps in there of what we're doing, what they're doing, and we're coming alongside and partnering with to help them to reach those goals. So that's what we do with parents.
Wow.
So those are the parents. That's what we're doing with them. The children, we have an early childhood education center. We call it the CEC, so the Child Early Childhood Enrichment Center, where we serve children from ages 6 weeks up to 4 years old or 5 years if they have a late birthday. And in our early childhood center, we are focused on learning through play, and we have a really big emphasis on early childhood development, meaning that we're making sure that they're meeting their developmental milestones. We partner with Help Me Grow, South Carolina, who does, I can't say that they do the developmental screenings, but they make those screenings available to parents as well as to us to be able to do. And so we, with all of our kids that come in, we do a developmental screening because we want to know where they are right now and whether or not they need any interventions. What we know is that is evidence-based that children need to have interventions early in order for them to even start kindergarten and be on track. 1 in 7 children start kindergarten and they're not on track. And so what we're trying to do is ensure that the children that are coming from here, they're on track. If they need those interventions, early interventionists can come out here and work with them in the natural setting because it's a early childhood setting. They can come in here and do all the interventions, the counseling, if it's audio issues or speech therapy or what have you, occupational therapy, they get to do all of that here on site. And so we give them the interventions that they need. If we notice something, we're on it. We're on top of it. We're talking to the parents about it in a very compassionate and understanding way because that's tough to hear that, there may be, a concern about your child and their development. But we take a real personalized and just an empathic approach with parents with that. So we do that over there, and they're learning through play. We have our kids our infants, children who are under the age of 1 doing stuff with paint. And it's so cool to see them feeling the textures of it, even though it's inside, we put it inside of a Ziploc bag. Really, letting them play, and it's center-based play too, so they get to go to different centers and play, and then they're learning about those things. The teachers are actively working with them, making sure that they know, okay, what color that is that they're working with, what shape is that they're working with, talking about the texture of things, letting them just build things and, just engaging and play with them. And children, they really are learning. We have parents coming here and telling us all the time, I didn't know, little Johnny, I'm making up a name. Little Johnny knows his ABCs. He's coming home and he actually now knows ABCs and he knows 1, 2, 3s and he knows, things that because they're so busy and they're working 2 or 3 jobs and they just unfortunately don't have the time to engage like that. And so we're just trying to fill in that gap so that the children are not missing out. So that's kind of what we do over there. it's, just learning through play and really being intentional about what we're doing. Our teachers get lesson planning time every week, where they're away from the kids and they get to actually sit down and figure out, okay, let me take into consideration each child's needs. If I do have somebody that's kind of a little bit behind, in terms of their developmental milestones, what do I need to implement to my lesson plans this week to address that and ensure that they're included? We create a very inclusive environment. So if our kids have special needs, we are still treating them just as we treat anybody else, and we're making sure that we're still working on targeting those developmental milestones. One thing I wanted to add, I completely forgot about our older kids. So we serve kids 13 and under, right? Okay. So we have an after school and out of school time program as well, and so people can enroll their children into that for summer programs. We also have during spring break and just other times when school is out, teacher work days and things like that, where they can drop their kids off here. And we really, for the older kids, those kids who are actually in school, we are really targeting academics, we're targeting social emotional development, and we're also targeting physical health. And so we partner with Boost. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Boost Greenville, but they really emphasize and highlight quality out of school time programs. And so we're a partner with them, and we really just make sure that we're focusing in on those 40 youth developmental assets that is, this evidence-based research that it says that each child needs this in order to be successful. So we really focus in on that. We focus in on those 21st century skills, just really trying to make sure that our kids are able to grow up. They're getting what they need now. They're laying the foundation now so they can grow up and be, functioning, contributing members of society.
Wow.